Welcome back to the Haute Sugar Collective podcast. I'm your host, Emerlie and Miller, and today we are talking with Sandra Major. So she is a cake artist and online personality, as well as an instructor and recently a competitor. So we're going to be talking about her online business as well as her recent competition at IBIE Baking Expo in Vegas. So
hmm
be sure to like and subscribe and let's talk. So, Sandra, can you please introduce yourself?
Sure. So
More
my
than
name
what
is
I already did.
yeah, right. You already did so much. Well, my name is Sandra Major. I'm from Canada. I'm a French Canadian. I've been doing cakes for quite a while now, almost 15 years. So I started making cakes like everybody else, pretty much for your family, your kids, friends and family. And after a while, I decided to do some videos because, it was the best way I thought of giving back to the community that gave me so much at the beginning. YouTube, I watched so much on YouTube. I've learned pretty much, I would say maybe 85% of everything I know from YouTube. So I just wanted to like bring it back, and especially in my own language because it was really popular back then in English or even Spanish, but no French whatsoever. And it wasn't really that popular as well in France or even Belgium, that part of the world. It's now beginning, it's now beginning to be so much more popular there, but at some point there was like nothing. So that's what I did. I did some videos, and it became quite popular. I was gaining so much more, traffic and comments, and people wanted so much more. So at some point, after a couple of years of selling cakes and doing videos, I had to make a choice. I had to do like, okay, is it this part of the cake I'm liking, or is it the video part? And what I liked about the video part was not only is it fun to make cakes, but it was also my creative way to create videos as well. There's so much to do, and being creative as well online with like editing and adding, music and color, lighting and all that stuff. So it was also really, really fun for me to do. So I decided to do go that way instead of like just selling cakes. And eventually I decided I wanted to do more. So that's when I started an online class, online, I would say cake school. So again, in French, because it was also very popular in English, as well, you might know,
Yeah.
because you do have one as well. So yeah, that's it. And of course, sharing recipes, doing blogs, talking about business as well. So my online school kind of became I would say, a special place for people, especially in Canada speaking French, to learn how to do cakes, not only for a business, but also just, for fun, for their kids, for their family. And so that's pretty much what happened. Of course, then so much more, but that was like, I would say that's like 90% of what my business is and who I am as well as a person. So yeah.
Oh, yeah, that is a lot. I love that. So just out of curiosity, so I
Yeah.
actually went to a cake design college in Canada,
Okay.
and in my opinion, Canadians and Australians are the lead cake decorators in the world. I at least back then that was like a very strong
Okay.
opinion that I had, and it was a very unique school. It was in Toronto, and
Okay.
so. I just want to know like the timeline of you transitioning online because the school I went to was about 10 years ago, and then a couple years after I did that, they closed down, and I think they would have been able to continue their business had they made that transition online, but that was way before everyone started doing that and even thinking about doing it.
Mm.
So I just wanna know, like, how long have you been around in the online space?
I think I first starting to like, my first online class was probably around 10 years ago. So, it was
Okay.
really, really at the beginning. Oh, yeah, of course,
You were
like,
way ahead of
oh,
most
yeah,
people.
way ahead.
Okay.
And I remember being a bit scared as well 'cause, like, nobody was and I had a limited budget. I didn't have these fancy cameras. I didn't have good lighting, but I just thought to myself, I need to do this." Like, for some reason, I guess there's, like, a saying that says, "Done is better than perfect." So I
Yes.
felt like that was my way to go. So sure, it wasn't perfect, and if I look at them today, I might cringe a little bit because, it's not really that good. But I had talent and I wanted to showcase it and I wanted to share also my knowledge with everybody else. And I thought that was the only, not just, I wouldn't say the only way, but it was definitely something that was accessible for me. I wasn't able to like travel and teach like around the world. I didn't have space to even bring people to my place to like show them the how to do it. Plus, buying just like one camera or like one good lighting equipment was a lot less expensive than buying a bunch of like turntables for everybody, and it just
Yes.
made more sense for me like to do this instead of trying to do like in-person classes. So yeah, that was like 2015.
That is when I went to school, was 2015.
Oh my, okay,
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah, makes me feel super old now,
Oh,
but
you're welcome.
but yeah, 2015 was when I first starting to do YouTube as well. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you were way ahead. I do feel like, some people were ahead like you where they were transitioning online. But especially now post-COVID, I think a lot of people wanted to return back to normal as quickly as possible. And then as soon as they got back to normal, they realized this is no longer what I want to do, or they were burnt out. That's something that I'm experiencing. And so they had to find a new normal. And so I'm seeing this huge wave of more people trying to transition into the online space. And for someone who has been around for as long as you have, what recommendations do you have for people, like advice for how you did it, or maybe things you wouldn't do the same?
Mm. Oh man, I would do like a lot of things differently. I think not in terms of like creating online content or no, I think you need to do online content, even though it's not perfect, because then again, done is better than perfect. You will learn by doing these, like online content. You will learn how to like improve filming. So for that, you need to do that. You need to do it. I think my only advice would be to connect with like a bunch of other people, not be alone in your sector. And I was really, I guess uh I felt some pressure. I also I didn't feel like I would fit in with the big boys. So so I just felt quite alone and disconnected from everybody else. And at some point I had to, like go out there and talk to other people and other content creator, and that's when I feel like I really started to enjoy what I was doing, and uh, I feel like I was creating more of a community, and I think that's what you should do from the beginning. That way you'll learn so much faster. You'll get bigger faster. That's what I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I'm definitely like a very social bug and I network like crazy, and actually going to expos, and that's
Mm,
where we met, right?
right.
Uh did we meet before IBIE?
Yes, we did. We saw each
SoFlo.
other. Yep, that's it.
Okay. It's hard to keep track of everybody. I'm like, what is your real name and not your Instagram handle name? And
Same.
where have I met you? Or am I just thinking I've met you? Like, it's hard to
Right.
keep track of everybody. But yeah, I feel like actually going to expos and actually interacting with people is where the most progress is made.
Absolutely.
versus like trying to reach out to people online. Sometimes they don't respond to you, but when I'm in person, like I make big fantastic
Oh, yeah,
creations. I
absolutely.
connections.
Yes.
Yes. I make great connections with people, and that's where like actual magic can happen where we can come together and getting you on this podcast,
Right,
for
exactly.
example. Yeah.
Yes. I will, I don't know, there was a couple of, moments I would say I felt like, um of course, IBIE was fantastic. I've met so many people. I've created friends, really. Like, it was such a crazy experience. But even like my first time going at SoFlo, um, with some friends, we were also invited to the ACAs, which was used to be the American Cake Awards. And right there, you can see
I love that.
my Rising Star Canada that I won in 2023. It was crazy because we were a couple of French Canadian, as a matter of fact, in competition in this category all together, and we decided that we were going to go together as well and like be in the same room and have fun all weekend, just together, because even though you're kind of like in competition, you're not, in some kind of weird way, I would say, because
Yeah.
you're kind of happy for other people as well. And just to be nominated is fantastic. So it's, yeah, I think that's like my first, like my first time, like that we experienced this. That's when I realized, this is so much bigger than just a competition. It's so much bigger than just a cake show. So yeah.
I think so too. I don't know. Like I'm sure a lot of people in the industry know. I have a large group of Utah girls that I hang out
Hmm.
with regularly, and we all have flown out to SoFlo together, and we have like all these activities. We're like going out to dinner every single night, and we're dressing up, and we're doing like edible photo shoots
Yeah,
while
I
we're
saw
in
that one.
Florida. Yeah. So we're like doing all of these things while we're at this expo, and SoFlo was the best one.
Right.
I think the first year there was only 3 of us. The next year, I think there was like 10 plus of us. And so we were this large crew, and like I'm very aware of what's happening in the
Mhm.
industry. And so when American Cake Awards, they had their nominations up, I'm sending that to my friends. I'm like,
Right.
"Hey, everyone needs to, if you want to apply for something or be nominated for something, like let's all do it together." And then when we went to SoFlo and we went to American Cake Awards, we all sat together and we're all cheering each other on. And some of us won, some of us, like me, did
Mm.
not win. But I've been finalists 2 years. I don't remember which ones. I did Rising Star USA and People's Choice, I think.
I think, yeah,
Yeah.
last year, 2024, we were in the same category, as a matter of fact, that
Oh
year.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That seems so long ago, but it's
Yeah.
not.
I know. Does feel like a long time ago. Yeah, so like it's really fantastic to be able to uh come together with people who should be your competition. Actually, my husband like complains about it all the time. Like he likes my friends, but at the same time, every now and then he's like, I just don't get it. You guys should hate each other. You guys should be in competition. Like, why are you guys
Right.
friends? Like he complains sometimes. He's like, I just don't get it. And I'm like, yeah, you just it's just so much more fun and less lonely when you have people that you can do this together with.
I agree. I agree. For sure. Yep.
Yeah. So I want to hear more about your online business because I know you sell a number of things, and I actually don't know like what is the structure of your online business, and what you do for marketing, what you actually sell. I know you have like your acrylic
Yeah.
earrings and things like that. So can you please explain like what you have on the back end and maybe like your uh different revenues that you have coming in?
Sure. So my first, I would say, like the biggest chunk of like my business is definitely like online classes. I would say probably around 85% of like my revenue comes from that. It's evergreen classes, so they're almost always available. As of right now, I don't know how many I have, but I think it's like, I would say around maybe 7 or 10, around around that number. So it's different, like I would say beginners, and I have like um some special cake decorating classes, such as geode cakes or even vintage cakes, that sort of thing. So these are on my website. And yeah, so pretty much once in a while I talk about them. Of course, it's always like when they come out, that's when I do like most of the marketing. That's where I do like most of the chunk, I would say, of the money coming in. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much it. I use Strive Cards. I don't know if you know, Strive Cards is
The platform, right?
the platform,
Thrivecart?
that's it, yes,
Okay.
I was looking for
Okay.
words.
Yeah.
So it's the platform I use. As a matter of fact, I didn't always use that platform. So before, I used a membership platform. So I did that for about almost, yeah, no, I think 5 years, which each month I would, put on a new cake. I would teach another cake each month for 5 years. Let me tell you, after 5 years,
Oh, man.
this could not go on anymore.
Yeah,
It
that's hard
was
to sustain that.
oh, yeah, definitely, and for some reason, I don't know why, I just couldn't market it. Like, the marketing behind the membership, for some reason, I just never was able to, like, put it up, like, sell it as much. I don't know why, I kinda had, like, this a blockage, I would say. It just didn't feel
Mhm.
right for me. Not that it wasn't worth it. Like, on the opposite side, it was really worth it. You know, you pay a membership for like $20 a month, and you get access to like so much cake tutorials. So for me, it was really worth it for people. But for some reason, I just couldn't put like that out there as much. Not as much as what I've been able to do since I changed the whole like com like not the configuration, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, that
configuration
works.
of my business. Like, my business changed completely. I believe it was just after, like, COVID was almost over. So for me, for example, COVID was kind of great, because everything was online. It was a membership, so people had time, so they started to get like membership like crazy. But since my kids were at home, I couldn't really make that as much as a business opportunity that I should or could. So, which is fine, by the way. Like, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
So eventually I decided to stop because that wasn't gonna happen anymore. And I wanted to focus on more of, like, create, I would say, like, not really bundles, but I wanted to create a class that was pre-filmed, and I was able to like showcase a bunch of different techniques for like beginners, so that way they can learn how to like ice a good cake and make sure that everything's pretty, and like create your buttercream, and troubleshoot every step of the way, which I was almost not able to do with the membership, because each month it's crazy. Like, to do a class each month, it's absolutely
Oh my
insane. So
goodness, yeah.
yeah, so that
Coming
way,
up with the idea and executing and
yeah,
having yeah, like, promoting that, that's a lot.
it's just insane. So, of course, no wonder I had trouble, like, creating all that stuff. So, anyway, when I changed, my husband was not very happy about it because, it works, his money was coming in. So, and we were buying a house at the moment as well,
Oh,
which, oh,
no,
yeah,
that's bad
exactly.
timing.
So he was like, this is not a good time. And I was like, well, yes, it is, because my brain right now is complete. I was almost, I wouldn't say I was, um, exhausted? No, I was exhausted. I was absolutely exhausted. I wasn't, like, in depression or anything like that, but I was like, I'm done. I'm done. I can't do
Burnout.
this. Oh, yeah, burnout.
Yeah.
That's the word I was looking for. So I was completely burned out, and so he had to change. And as a matter of fact, I thought of like quitting everything, because I was like, I can't do this anymore. and I was listening to podcasts, which I do very often. And this lady, she's not even in the cake business, she's just like random infopreneur. I don't know how to say that in English. She's like an entrepreneur, but like information, that sort of thing. Anyway,
Okay.
and she was talking about her application she used, and she sells online classes, and she does bundles with a bunch of other people in the cake community, not the cake, in her community, and it works like really really good. So I was like, oh, wait a minute. So I looked. I believe she had not a workshop, but like, what's it called, when they do like a live and they
Um, yeah, it's like a workshop.
kind of like a workshop.
I know
Anyway,
what you're talking about,
yeah,
yeah.
okay. So I went there and I listened to what she had to say, and I was sold. I was like, okay, this is exactly what I want. So I bought the damn thing. It was quite expensive, but I was like, I'm gonna make this work. And I did. So now it's been 4 years, I think. And I changed absolutely everything about Miss Business. And
Oh,
it was
so
quite fun.
hard.
Oh yeah, it was fun, but so hard. But at the same time, it was a good thing because I was able to like be, I I kind of felt like I was getting more like myself than I was before. Like I was like creating exactly what I wanted to be and exactly what my business meant to be before that. I was creating exactly what I wanted. And so it felt fantastic and it worked. So I'm just happy
There you
now.
go.
I'm like,
Yeah.
yay. So eventually, after a couple of classes, like building classes and putting them online, I decided I wanted to do exactly like the woman I was talking about. Her name is Jen. I wanted to do exactly like her. So I wanted to create a bundle with a bunch of other people in my community in French, of course, because I don't, well, I mean, I speak English, but my community is definitely in French. So I have people, it's crazy how much French we speak in this world. Like, even like as a French Canadian, I didn't know how much people spoke French. For example, like even in Africa, even
Oh,
in
yeah.
America.
That shocked me when I found out.
Uh,
Yeah, that shocked me when I found out that,
oh
there's a lot
yeah,
of French speaking in Africa,
it's
yeah.
Africa, even in the United States, for example, like Louisiana, that place. They speak. I know that they don't say that they speak the same language that we do, but to be quite honest, it's almost as exactly like Quebecois, which is French Canadian. It's exactly the same, or almost. Um, Belgium, France, there's a bunch of places there that they speak French as well. So I contacted a bunch of creators that they made online classes. So sometimes it was like modeling, sometimes it was, doing special recipes, like gluten free, or uh, cookies, or sculptural cakes, that sort of thing. And I decided to create a bundle with all of them. So we were 10. Well, first year we were 9. We were supposed to be 10, but somebody had to um, step back because of, I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was like family business or whatever, something kind of bad happened in their life. So, of course, they had to step back. So we were 9, and we sold the bundle at 97% rebate. So it was like worth so much money, but it was like a super, like you only paid 3%, or I'm not sure, maybe 5% of what it actually was worth. And we were able to sell, I think, around 300 bundles that way.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it was really, really fun. Like in a short amount of time, in like almost a week, we were able to sell that much, which was like huge. So I did that twice already. Like the first year was 2024. And I did it this year again in January. And then again, it was also super popular, of course, like each year it comes back with different people, of course, different creators. But that way, the creators are able to see, well, they're able to like share their knowledge. Of course, they still make money, they still do,
Right.
but they are able to uh, put their product into a market that they didn't know existed, for example, because we are 10 people talking about this product to all of our communities. So, my community, for example, my customers, well, now they know about nine other people that do not necessarily something that they might know, but even if you don't do cookies, you might be still, be able to learn something from them. So that way they get, recognized, they get a bigger following, and of course they make money because even though they don't, even though it's really not expensive, they still make quite a good chunk. I'm not gonna lie. So
Yeah.
so yeah, so that was like one of the biggest thing I would say that I did. Of course, when it comes to like everything that's like online and my cake school, and then after, well, the first time I did that, I was able to get, as I mentioned, like it was quite, successful. I don't want to lie, it was really successful. So I got some money, and I was like, well, I want to buy something to create more, and that's when I was looking for a laser cutting machine. And
Oh,
so I
that's cool.
Oh yeah, exactly. I was looking for it for quite some time, and but of course I couldn't manage to like buy something that was costing so much money. So when that happened, I was like, okay, I know exactly what I'm gonna do with that money, and so that's what I did. I bought a very cool machine to cut acrylics, and at first, as a matter of fact, I bought that machine for something else. Like I bought that machine for a project which I didn't manage to create right now. I still want to, but it's so much more time. It's consuming, but it's a very cool project, which eventually might happen. But I was like, well, wait a minute, I can do so much more with this machine. Cake toppers, for example. So that's when I started to, well, create a bunch of like models, I would say, happy birthday, bonne fête, it's a
What does
boy.
that mean, by the way? Bonne
Bonne
fites?
fête, it's happy birthday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I took a little bit of French, but I don't remember that.
Right. Bonne fête, you can say joyeux anniversaire.
Okay, that sounds more familiar.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that
But I
one is
took French
definitely
in like
French
middle
French.
school, so it's been a long time.
So yeah, so yeah, I started doing cake toppers, and of course I still do them. And I was like, well, I kind of went through a rabbit hole of like, what can I do with this? Like, what can I not do with this machine? You can do so much. So of course, basic stuff from, cake. What are these called? The acrylic plates, to ice a cake perfectly. Now I can do that.
Oh, yes.
Little tools to, just to ice a cake perfectly as well. A cake combs as well to create new texture and patterns on the side of the cake with buttercream or ganache. Um, and I, of course, did some really cool earrings. You can do so much. It's so creative. You can really have fun with it. So that's when yeah, that's about, I believe, well, last year. So it's been a year now since I've been doing
It's
that.
been just over a year
Yeah.
because SoFlo was about a
Oh,
year
yeah.
and a half ago, and you were very generous and you donated some product when I ran the social media and TV stage as well as the photo booth, and I did a giveaway. And so I don't remember how we connected there, but you were very
I don't
generous with
remember.
what you contributed, and it was so cute. I wanted to steal the butter earrings. One day I'm gonna have to get a pair of my own,
I'll,
but
I'll bring you one at some
okay.
point. I don't know where and when, but
That's
I'll
okay.
give you some.
I want the like the trendy butter shirt that everyone has, and then I
Yes.
want those butter earrings. I don't look
Yeah.
good in yellow, but I want to wear it so bad. I
There's
just
other
that's
colors,
funny.
of the t-shirts, by the way. I saw
I
them
know,
in
but
pink.
yellow looks so much better.
I know. It's like the
Yeah.
OG.
Yes, it is. But I love that. I love that you have found other things that you can do. Do you still like throughout all of this, did you still take on cake orders to still have some, like income coming in, or did you just kind of completely walk away from that and transition online?
When I did the transition, when was it? Well, 10 years ago, I just stopped making cakes. That was like my last time making a cake was for a customer was 10 years ago, literally.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was the most scariest thing ever. And still today, people still contact me like, hey, can you do a cake for me? I'm like, it's been 10
Yeah.
years. Are you kidding me?
It's so hard walking away from it because it's like you still get friends and family
Yeah.
who still try to
Oh,
get
I
you to
still
say
do
yes.
cakes for, like, my friends and
Okay.
family, of course. I just don't sell them. But, so, because I don't have, like, my permits anymore,
Right.
so I can't do that anymore, but I still for example, today, I'll be making a cake for my father. It's his birthday, so and I'll be making him a cake topper as well, but, yeah, I just don't sell them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still
No,
get suckered
it was
into it
hard
every
at
now and then.
first. It was hard at first, but eventually I was kind of happy because there's a part of like the doing cakes for customers where you kind of like are told what to do, and that's fine. And for some people, that's what they want.
Mm.
I've talked to a bunch of like cake artists that just want you to tell them exactly what to do, but for me, it's quite the opposite. I prefer to do my own thing, and like if I want to put it, like a rock there, there's gonna be a rock there. You know what I mean?
I'm kind of both. Like when I did a lot of custom cakes, I usually would just ask for inspiration photos and then I would just say, what's the most important details from these photos? Like, do you specifically want a topper like this? Do you need to have the kid's name on there, the age, whatever? And so I would just see what the most important details were. And then I would always just say, give me creative freedom. And I got to the point where I was able to get people to trust me. And so I just always would be like, give me creative freedom. I would never send sketches because I'm a procrastinator and my best
Mhm.
work is at the last minute.
Right.
And I hate sketching. So I'm like, don't even ask me what's actually on this cake. Like, just give me creative freedom and give me a theme. But every now and then you get someone who sends you a photo and they say, I want exactly this. And there were times where I loved that.
Mm.
Because it's like, just the having the brain power, like, to always having that turned on, where you're always trying to pump out, like, multiple cakes a week, and you're trying to think of, like, creative ideas for every single one, that leads to burnout, and
Mhm.
as much as I am proud that I am a very creative person and I can come up with these really fun designs, I did also appreciate those very basic naked cakes or buttercream cakes or just copying a themed cake exactly how they wanted it. I didn't always fight it. And so, yeah, I'm kind of on both sides of that.
I see why. It's actually great that you mentioned pointing out that like having this creative mind sometimes is so overwhelming. Like I remember like dreaming of creating cakes and like and imagining and like a team, specific team, and like creating it in your head before like a cake order, which crazy. It's totally crazy. So I remember putting down and doing, sketches, even though it's not perfect. At least you have this idea that it's putting me on a piece of paper so that way it's not in your mind.
Mhm.
So I remember doing that because at some point I was exactly like you, like going absolutely insane.
Yes. It can be hard to keep up with that.
Yeah.
But I love that. Okay, so I definitely need to still talk to you about IBIE. We have mentioned
Yes.
it multiple times. So, for those who are not familiar, IBIE is International Baking something industry
Yes.
exposition or something.
Yes.
So IBIE is this massive expo that happens in Vegas. It's once every 3 years and you have people coming in from all around the world. There's a lot of big bakery equipment, like ovens that could fit 6 human bodies in it. and like these cool production machines. And it's not like specifically a cake expo, but
Mhm.
there's still some cake happening. And one of the highlights for me is the live cake decorating competition. So I actually did that one 3 years ago. My teammate was Corey, and your teammate Sabrina was originally supposed to be Corey's teammate. So
Mhm.
3 years ago, she signed up, Corey signed up with her, and she had to drop out 2 weeks before. And Corey reached out to me because I live only 6 hours away from Vegas. I mean, in Utah. And he's like, hey, I know you live really close. And also, I know that you might be available. So, would you do this competition with me? And so I dropped everything and he flew in and we figured it all out. And then we drove down and we did this live competition. And it was
Wow.
such an interesting experience. I loved it. I was so looking forward to it again, and I waited 3 years to do it, and then I just unfortunately couldn't make it work logistically, so I just came as a teacher. But, I want to hear about your experience competing with Sabrina, and spoiler alert, you win.
Yes.
And you won over the whole thing, but can you talk about, like, how many teams there were, like, what you had to, create for this competition and the results and just anything else that you wanna brag about, you know? Maybe some fun techniques you guys pulled off?
So, well, fun fact, not a lot of people know that, but I didn't know that we were gonna do this competition. So,
Oh, so that TikTok you guys did was real? Like, I
yeah,
signed us up for a competition?
yeah,
I
it was
saw that
100%
TikTok.
real. I didn't know, and I received an email saying, "Congratulations, you've been selected." And I was like, "Oh, is this a scam?" I don't. I didn't even know IBIE. First of all, like I know that it's one of the biggest baking expo in the world, but I didn't know it. So I was like, "Oh, this is another scam I'm receiving." And then I received a couple of messages from Sabrina, so I looked it up in Messenger and she was like, "We've been chosen." And I'm like, "What the heck are you talking about?" Yeah, she put my name in and I didn't know. So
I love that.
yeah. So that was like my first very funny moment about IBIE. And then of course I was at first I was like, "Oh my god, I don't know." And then I saw that Corey did it 3 years ago with you, and then I was like, "Oh, okay, you know what? Let's do this. Let's have fun." At first, that's what we said. So, and she was like, "You know what? Last time I wanted to participate, it was really stressful. So this time I wanted to be super fun. Like not let's not go crazy." I was like, "Okay, cool. I'm down for that." And then we started, talking about the themes and what we will do. I've never worked with her. She never worked with me as well. We only knew each other from SoFlo.
Oh,
So in
okay.
Miami, we went together because we were both selected or nominated in the American Cake Award Rising Star Canada, and so she was in the same room as us. We had fun. We had a drink, and we talked a bit about everything as well. The next year, we went again together, and that time we spent a lot more time together, and we enjoyed each other's company. So I guess she was like, "Well, I just want to go with you then."
I love
um
that.
yeah. So yeah, we talked, and after a while, you can't really say anything at first. They say it online at some point, and that's when you realize everybody else is going to be they're competing with you. So we saw a couple of big names, and we were like, "Oh man, now we have to put on our A game, or else we're gonna look like fools."
Yeah. Yeah,
So
there's some fierce competition there.
oh yeah, absolutely. Like Jesse and Jean. I was like, "Oh man," Aaron as well. I was like, "Oh man, we have to put on our A game, or else we're gonna look like a bunch of dumb people, whatever." So we turned our mindset. Our mindset was not let's have fun. It was like let's not make a fool of ourselves. So so we talked a lot. We made a bunch of like Zoom meetings and sketches, and like who's buying what and what do we need and what the techniques should we use. So yeah, we were really planning everything. you're not in your city, you're not in even I'm not even my own country. You have limited tools, of course. You still bring your stuff, but you don't bring everything. So we had to like plan everything ahead. And so everything for that was not that bad, I would say. We did practice a little bit because we wanted to make sure, I don't do as much cakes as her. She does, a bunch of cakes every day because she has a business of selling cakes. I don't, I do cakes, but I don't sell them, so I don't make as much, of course. So even my own husband was like, do you think you're ready to do this? I
Are
was
you
like,
sure?
excuse me? I've been making cakes for like 15 years. What are you talking about? So yeah, I did practice a couple of techniques that we wanted to use in the cake competition because I wanted to make sure I wasn't rusty or anything. So yeah, then we packed everything we needed and we went to the airport, and that was the first time that we had almost a panic attack because
Oh, no.
um Air Canada overbooked the plane. So Sabrina was not going inside the plane
No, are
because
you serious?
I'm not kidding. And we were only arriving the day of the
Where you
not
have to check in.
that we have to check in. Not only that, but we had to set up everything that day
Yeah,
at
you
IBIE.
have to.
You have to, or else it was like mandatory, or else I thought to myself like, oh man, we're gonna get disqualified, this is going insane. And she was like, okay, well, I have money, so maybe I can pay somebody to like take their place. We were like, oh yeah, we were trying to find a solution as like fast as we could. Air Canada, and this is so stupid because they don't want to lose money, so they overbooked just in case somebody doesn't
All
show
the
up.
time. Yeah.
They always do that. But then when everybody shows up, they lose money because then they have to give waivers, which was quite expensive. Like they gave like $1,200 waivers. That's a lot of money for like two people. So that
Oh, yeah.
and my ticket was not that much, so of course they're losing money. Um, so eventually she was able to take the plane because two people were generous enough to take the flight that was later that day. And they got money, of course, back from Air Canada because of that, which thank God and thank them.
Did Sabrina, like, actually give them money?
No, she did not. She didn't
Oh,
have to. Yeah,
okay. They
yeah.
volunteered.
They volunteered. Yeah.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yes, exactly.
So she was, like, randomly selected, and thank
Exactly. She
goodness.
could have still, been selected, but I mean, come on, you don't want that chance to not be selected. So,
Oh, I would be crying.
oh, I was panicking, but at the same time, I was like, I have this feeling that everything's going to be fine,
Yeah.
Maybe I was just, being a bit, what was it called? Um, Naive, I guess
Yeah.
I would say.
You were
So,
manifesting,
right.
You made it
Okay.
happen by manifesting it. It's okay.
Yeah, exactly. So
Oh my
we went
goodness.
into the airplane, which by the way, I would say maybe 90% of that plane was all going to IBIE, by the way, like
Really?
vendors and yeah, yeah. So everybody around me was like, we were talking about IBIE like all the way there. So I've met people, I've made friends as well, from of course baking industry mostly, like not cake related stuff, but
Yeah.
still, ingredients, and which is still, cake related, but just not cake decorating related, I would say. So yeah, and then we landed, and we went to our hotel. And oh, there was this big thing with the hotels as well. We had problems because
Oh, no.
Sabrina was called by a business that was not the business that was supposed to call her. So she got, I wouldn't say scam because it's a legit business, but were fishing for her to like, they asking money and taking a reservation for, yeah, yeah, yeah. It was not on peak, so she was not getting a return for it, which was crazy. And I also didn't have a chef jacket because I've never worn a chef jacket in my life. I always felt like since I didn't go to pastry school, I was kind of like not allowed to wear a chef
Oh,
jacket.
that's sad, yeah.
Yeah, I know. But and I felt like an imposter if I did, so I never wore one. And so when I knew that was I wouldn't say that it was like mandatory, but it was still kind of recommended. So I was like, "Oh crap, now I have to buy myself a chip jacket." And Sabrina was like, "Well, yeah, not only that, but you need to wear one that's pink." And I was like, You're right. So it needs to be pink. So I tried to looking online on Amazon, of course, and I wasn't finding one in my size or that it felt like it was pretty enough.
And a lot of them are male cut,
Yeah,
so, like, it just doesn't fit right. Yeah,
exactly. You want
and
it to
they
be
look awful
pretty.
on you, and they're long
Yeah,
sleeves, and they're hot, yes.
exactly. So anyway, I was like, crap, I can't find anything. And then one of my friends was like, well, you're going to Vegas, so just go on Amazon USA instead of Canada, and you'll find so much more. And I was
Oh,
like, oh
okay.
crap, you're right. I can then ship it to my hotel. So I did. I did find something quite nice. I was super happy about it. And I shipped it to my hotel, but it turns out that was not the hotel we were going to because Sabrina, like I mentioned before, had a mix up because somebody else called them that was not on peak, which on peak is the one that's I with IBIE anyway. So she there was a big fuss. She had like a full day of calling and like her credit card and yeah, exactly. So it was absolutely insane. So
Yeah,
eventually
that's a
she did
lot.
contact the people that called her and like, "Why did you call us? Like, why did you call me? I thought you were guys with IBIE." So they did refund her eventually. And I already had a peak like with the business, the legitimate business with IBIE. I had a room for us, so that was perfect. But then when we first went to our room, I had to go and pick up my ship jacket and another hotel that I shipped it to because
Oh
it was
my
the mix
goodness.
up. So I did that. And then we had to go to Walmart to get some cream and butter because we wanted to, like add some stuff and ingredients to the cake competition. Because, of course, they give us buttercream, but it's not really what we're used to working with. And we wanted to do ganache as well for the wedding cake.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And I think it was a great idea because a bunch of wedding cakes fell down, especially. We still had, quite good support, but, you know,
Yeah,
so
we had a wedding cake fall over, last competition, but it was because the supports were done wrong, but also, like, the slippery buttercream doesn't help.
no.
Um, there's a lot I could say about that, but yeah, we had a wedding cake
Yeah,
fall over. It was just luckily after the timer went off, so it still counted, and we didn't have to be disqualified for that.
right.
Yeah,
All
so
the
that's
wedding cakes
smart,
that
though.
fell was mostly during the night, which, because it turns out that they don't keep their air conditioning on during the night.
Oh, I mean, I guess
Yeah,
that makes sense.
because it costs so much money to put air
Yeah.
conditioning in such a big space. So of course it gets really, really, really warm to a point where Aaron's Crisco, which was the team right next to us, was melted on top
Are
when
you
we first. Yeah,
serious?
I'm not kidding. It's Las Vegas. It's really warm. So yeah, it was melted on top. So yeah, it gets really warm. So of course, cakes will collapse. It's
Yeah.
not the temperature for cakes. So it's not their fault. Of course, ours stayed, but I mean, we had ganache. So, and we had also like a really big support as well. But still, it's sad for them because everybody sees that and they think, oh, well, it's just a shitty cake. It's not. It's not a shitty cake. It's shitty temperature.
Yeah. It certainly doesn't help.
No.
Uh, can you talk about the all the different cakes that you had to make and,
Sure.
how much time you had? Because a lot of people are not familiar with this competition, which it's a really fun, unique competition.
Absolutely. So there's 16 of two people. Sabrina chose me, of course. And we had 4 cakes to make in 2 days. And each day you have 6 hours plus a 30-minute mandatory lunch break that we you have to
I
take.
don't think
Like,
we had that last time. I don't remember a mandatory lunch break.
yeah, we were obligated to take a 30-minute break. Yeah. And they,
Huh.
of course, give you also the lunch, which is quite fun. It's really appreciated. So yeah. And what else? Okay. So we had a wedding cake to make. We are giving a kind of like a story to go with the bride and groom and where they'll have the ceremony and what type of people they are, what they do for a living, the color scheme, and a couple of AI generated picture as well of like what it will look like, and then they tell you what they expect from the wedding cake. So they don't tell you exactly what to do. You still have to like manage all of that in your head. Um, and but they still tell you like a 40 cake, it has to be like, I don't know, it needs to serve, I think was 75 people, 75 serving, 4 tier, as I've mentioned before, sorry. It needed to be bold, and have something else. I don't remember exactly. So we decided to create
You've
something.
already dumped that
Oh
information.
yeah,
It's only been
like
like 2
this is out
weeks.
of my mind now.
Okay.
And so yeah, we don't wanted to create something bold. We didn't want it to be white. I was like, there's no way these people would want a white cake. She's not even wearing a simple dress. So of course she's wearing kind of like a dress pants type of thing. Anyway,
Mhm.
so I was like, there's no way she wants a white cake. So we went bold, and we knew that we were taking a risk. But it as it turns out, I think it was fantastic. I would have loved that wedding cake for myself anyway. It was, listen, when you have a 5.5 hour, I'm sorry, to do 2 cakes with like 2 people, there's no way in
Yeah.
hell this cake will be perfect. There's no way. There's absolutely no way.
But people think it's possible. Like
It's not.
you look at like, like I've been on a bunch of TV show
Yeah.
competitions and I look at what comments people leave online and the amount of people who are like, "Oh, these people suck," or like, "Why don't they know any better?" And it's like, "No, they do. They are way better than that." But you try doing that in a time constraint. 2 cakes
Right.
in 5.5 hours is insane.
It's insane.
It's absolutely insane. It's never going to be your best work, and
No.
people need to understand that, like, we're way more talented than that.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And so that is, and I never participated, I'm sorry, in the competition like that. So I never went on TV. So I think we were only 2 people from that competition that never made TV. And and I
Oh,
was
shoot.
one of them. So I've never experienced this. Uh, I've participated in competition where you bring your own cake, but of course you spent like, I don't know, like 30 to 100 hours at your place doing this cake. So of course it's going to be near perfect because you worked so hard on it. So that first day, it was kind of like a punch in my gut, like, oh crap, this will not be my prettiest cake. I will be judged on something I'm not even like half proud of, which is insane. And I felt exactly, and I kind of like understood TV. Like I understood exactly where you guys were like feeling each time. So I was like, oh man, this is something else. Anyway, so the first day we did that, we still, we can encountered a couple of problems, such as one of the cakes that they brought us was not like high enough, so one of
Oh,
our
not
tier
tall
was
enough.
not exactly. So it was baked, but it was like we didn't have like enough tiers, I would say, something like that. Anyway, so our rod was slightly longer than the actual cake. So it kind of came out of the cake. It was not supposed to, but it was metal, so we can cut it.
Oh, no.
We had to like camouflage it. And anyway, so
I
that
don't
was
I didn't see that.
okay.
So, yeah,
Well,
you did a really good job.
so that was like one of the problems. Sabrina was really stressed out as well. She even told me, like, after the whole competition, like, "That first day, I almost took all my shit and went home."
No.
I was like, "Oh, man." And it's crazy because we were both working on, separate things pretty much all of the time. So I didn't feel that from her. She just told me after, but I was like, "Really? Okay." So I didn't expect that. She was, we're both really stress people, and we do, like, we felt it, like, but I guess both not at the same time, which was a good thing, or else we would have maybe it would have turned into something more chaotic, I think, if both of us would have been so stressed at the same time. So that was the first day. The first day, we did also the fondant cake, which was two-tier.
That was the surprise theme, right?
Yes, exactly. So the day
Okay.
before, when we were like creating, or like placing our stuff, and like managing to create our space for to work on. We handpicked a out of a hat the theme, and it was board games. And we got Scrabble, which I thought was fantastic, but we didn't have like any lettering, so I had to hand paint
Oh, I
everything.
saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was kind of panicking and like shaking a little bit. Oh man, but then again, it's not your perfect, it's not your greatest cake ever. I'm still very proud of it, not gonna lie, for the time that we had, and the fact that we only heard of the team, not even 24 hours before. So I was still very proud of that. And we were both very proud of, like, the winning cake and the Scrabble cake. We were really happy about it. Then the second day, we were exhausted after that day. We were
Oh,
like,
yes.
"Oh my god, what just happened?" I felt like a truck ran into me, like over me a couple of times, not just
Yep.
once.
You're like, "Do I really wanna get out of bed today?
Yeah.
No, I don't."
It was insane, but I think it was not really physical. Like, I wasn't feeling very like the truck physically. It was more like in my mind, in my head, I guess. It's just like, I don't know, maybe emotions, or I just felt exhausted, but like brain exhaustion. Anyway, so the second day we had the 3D cake, which me and Sabrina, like, that's what we like to do. Like, both of us, we were going in for the 3D cake. That's what we wanted to win. And we also had what's the other one?
Oh, it's the buttercream cake. You had
Yes,
the
buttercream
elements,
cake.
yes.
Buttercream cake.
You
Yes.
forgot so much.
Uh-huh. And so for the buttercream cake, we knew that we had to, like, change the buttercream, because Corey told us, this buttercream is not really the best. I
Mhm.
normally use Swiss meringue buttercream with only butter, so it's completely different from what I use normally. So we decided to add butter to it. Even though we added butter to it, it still took so much time to get really hard in the fridge. I would actually say that it never actually got hard in some kind of way. So
Yeah, yeah, those frosting, yeah. I'm
yeah,
a Swiss buttercream person all the way.
yeah, same, same. So uh everything that we planned of doing with this cake, we kind of was hoping that the butter would just be enough, which was not. So we kind of had problems with that, because we wanted to do so for piping, for example. Fine, like, I can do whatever buttercream. It's fine, it's fine. But we wanted to do stenciling, which was not good with this buttercream whatsoever. So we had a couple of, it was imperfect, and it had to be, done at some point. We were like both on the cake. It was the last cake that we created, because 3D cake went quite good, quite smooth as well, which was fantastic. We were exactly in our elements as well. With 3D cakes, we chose to do a hiking cake. A lot of other people's, I thought, was kind of very bold of them, but they did a lot, like a multi uh team. with the groom's cake, the 3D cake.
Yes.
So they put a bunch of things and we just focus on one thing. We decided, let's
You
do
guys
it.
had the boot that was sitting on top of the tree stump, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, a lot
exactly.
of other people incorporated a lot more.
Yeah.
Um, Remind me, unless things have changed, but when I did it a couple years ago, it was also supposed to be hyperrealism, right?
Right.
Did you guys
Exactly.
have to do that as well? Okay.
Yes, it's the same. Yeah, hyper realistic. So
Okay.
so that's what we wanted to, do so much. It was the first actually team that we the first cake that we sketched out, and all the ideas was coming out and pumping with this cake. Everything else was a bit more complicated and not so much inspiring for us. So that cake was, I wouldn't say it was the super easy, but we were really proud of what we accomplished.
Yeah,
So
as you
I
should
think,
be.
yeah, and I think it was probably the one that was the closest to something that we would have been able to like sell, and be proud of it as well. So that cake was really, really fun. Of course, I would have put so much more time in the boot and everything else if we had more time, but we didn't.
Yeah.
So that was it. So 3D cake, second day. Buttercream cake was a four element, so fire, water, air, and what's the other? Earth, of course.
Yeah, earth, wind, fire, rain,
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's it. Water and air. Yeah. So we wanted to create something that was more like Japanese type of art stuff. So we did like a bonsai tree. When it comes to fire, we did a volcano. We did a bunch of like palettes with buttercream, like palette buttercream. So and I was kind of like embracing a little bit of my Bob Ross, thing,
Oh,
with the
you
paint
channeled your
palette.
inner Bob Ross.
Yes, I was. It
Were
was
you
really
beating
fun.
the cake too?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I didn't beat the
Beat the
cake, but
devil out of
yeah.
it. Okay.
Yeah, so we did that, and on the water side, we did a water cascade and a wave, which we used a stencil for, which we created on ourselves. We didn't buy it; we created our own stenciling for that with the same machine I use, by the way. Like
Love
laser
it.
cutting. Yeah, yeah, so much fun. But it was a friend of mine that helped with it to because I didn't have any time, so she offered her time to create the stencil for us, and so yeah, that was the buttercream cake, and then of course that night we were not that exhausted. I think we were just really happy about everything that happened. I was satisfied with everything that happened and everything that came out of it. I didn't know if we were gonna win. Uh, I maybe thought I would receive, maybe one medal, for one of
Mhm.
the cakes. I
So
didn't know
many
which
teams,
one.
yeah.
No, exactly. You don't know. So, but I was still super happy. We went out that night with Aaron and Juanita and her husband as well. We went a bunch of places, the strip pretty much. So
It's
we saw.
Vegas. There's a
Yeah,
lot to
it's
do.
Vegas, exactly. We had like this humongous drink. Mine tasted only like tequila. It was, yeah, it was insane. It was quite fun. And so yeah, so the next day was the big day where they tell who won what. And I did not expect to win for each cake, and I did not think that I would win, the grand prize as well. Like I was, because the thing is, the last day, they didn't normally do that, but they did for us, well, for all the teams. The judge talked about a little bit of each cake.
Oh, yeah, I appreciate that,
Yeah,
like,
so
actually knowing why.
exactly. So like listen, this is the cake, whatever. So we didn't know like who won what, but we went and talked to the judges and they told us, okay, so this you should have done that differently or whatever. which is fun, you know, that's what you want from the judges. But there was one of the judges that was really, really hard on us. So I thought to myself, like, oh shit, we're not winning anything now. There's no way. Like, there was absolutely no way. So, we were kind of devastated, not gonna lie. So,
When you were hearing the feedback
oh yeah,
initially?
some
Oh,
of
that's
them,
hard.
you know, even though, listen, even though you don't like maybe some stuff on the cake, uh because not all of the judges loved our work. We just didn't expect like this much. So when we received that, we were like, oh hell no, there's no way we're winning. Like the way that she told us this,
Yeah.
no way we're winning. So what we were proud of turned out to be like not so good for them. So I was like, oh crap, man, we do, man, I'm disappointed, you know. So I remember even sending a message to my husband like, "Oh man, I thought we had this, you know, I thought we didn't make a fool of ourselves, but it turns out we did." So
Oh, no.
yeah, so the next day when they told us, you know, like you're winning third place for this and second place for that and second place and first place for that, I was
Yeah,
like,
can you tell me
"Excuse
which
me?"
categories you placed what in?
Yes. Okay, so
Yes.
hopefully I'm not mistaking because, you know, turns out I don't remember anything about
You
Vegas, but
dumped all the information, that's okay.
yes. So third place was uh it was the Scrabble cake,
Okay.
fondant cake. So that we placed third place. I was kind of honestly a bit shocked about that because I mean it was nice, not you know, it wasn't perfect, but I don't know. There's like maybe one or two other cakes I thought was better than mine. But anyway, then we got second place for the buttercream cake. Then again, I was really shocked. I was like, what? Okay, kind of cool. Not gonna lie. Then we got second place for the wedding cake. And that was the one that they were telling me like a bunch of stuff. So I was like, excuse me? Why did you tell all of this yesterday and gave me second place? No way. Maybe
I
it's
wanna
just
know
because,
what they were saying to
oh
the other
man.
teams. They must've been way worse.
Oh, there, listen. Well, even other competitors told us like that was insane. That was crazy. And I was like, I know, right? So anyway,
Yeah.
so yeah, second place, I was like, whoa, I was completely shocked. When they name her name on second place, I was like, excuse me? Like there's no way. And then we got first place for the 3D cake, which was with the boots and the rocks and yeah. So yeah, that's it.
And then you got first place
Oh yeah.
overall,
Yes.
and
Yes.
that's so exciting. Oh my goodness.
I know, right? It's right there.
Yeah.
It's
I
heavy.
That looks heavy. Look at
It
you.
is.
That
It's as
is
big as
amazing.
my head.
Oh my goodness. Well, congratulations on that. You know, I did the competition, like I said, 3 years ago, at the last IBIE, and, we ended up Corey and I got 2nd place in 2 categories.
Oh, cool.
Uh, yeah, so, you know, we
What was
didn't
the
place
category you guys got?
we got 2nd place in the fondant category, the surprise theme. So the
Yeah.
Queen of England had just passed away, so our surprise theme was King of England.
Okay.
And almost all the cakes looked the same, except for the one thing that, I think really set us apart was we had to do the we had to do like a quilting effect, or it was
Right.
like on a list of things that they're like, well, you can do one of these techniques. So everyone did a quilting effect on their cakes. But what I did was I put plastic wrap after I covered the cake in fondant. I put plastic wrap over it, and then when I went to go indent it with these diamond shapes, it created a puckering effect. And
Okay.
so it made it look more 3D and more realistic. And that was, I think, like what really elevated our design. Um, but we didn't have ribbon on the board, and there was a couple other, like,
Mhm.
messy mistakes, and so, unfortunately, like, I think we could have gotten first on that one. Uh,
Oh,
but then the buttercream three-tier square cake, that one you guys had the 4 elements, we had the
yeah.
4 seasons. And
Okay.
yeah, and like I said, like, I stepped in for Sabrina 2 weeks before,
Right.
and, she had done most of the designing of the cakes, and so when she had to drop out, unfortunately, and Corey, like, looked at her notes, he was like, don't know what's happening here.
Oh, yeah.
And
It's
so
the same today, believe me, like, it's
yeah,
always, like, a bunch of stuff. I remember, like, taking her or a bunch of, what she did, put it in, like, ChatGPT, and
yeah.
he created, like yeah, but I totally get it.
Yeah. Well, it's like we're looking at her notes and it was like she had a list of material that she needed and I remember like one of the things was Flexique. And we're looking at her shopping list and we're like Flexique and we're like looking at all the cakes and we're like where was she planning on putting that? We don't even know.
Oh,
So,
okay.
unfortunately and like not she had a lot of it in her head as well. And
Right.
so we're trying to interpret her notes and we're like we don't know what's happening. And
Mm,
so we had 2 weeks to tweak everything and reconfigure what we were doing and make it our own and what we were comfortable with and the techniques that we wanted to use. So we were redesigning everything. And the night before, it was like midnight the night before, and I came up with a new idea for the buttercream cake. And I told
okay.
Corey, like, I have this new idea, and he's like, go for it. And so I just had to wing it, and we ended up I did the 4 seasons on each side, and then I had trees that I piped on each corner going up, and then the trees extended onto each of the sides, and then, like I piped snowdrift on one side, and I piped cherry blossoms on another side, things like that.
Okay.
So, I ended up getting second place on that one as well. So, yeah,
Cool.
uh, pretty proud of that considering like I was improvising the whole thing
Right.
and it was a new idea that I had the night before because they were planning on just doing like a design going up and down on
Okay.
one side. And I was like, let's do all 4 sides. Um, so yeah, but yeah, it's a really fun competition, very unique. Do you think that you would want to do a competition like this again? Did you
Oh,
get the
absolutely.
competition bug?
I did. I did. As a matter of fact, I put my name on to participate in a competition in Toronto, which
Hmm.
is like next month. So it's bring your own cake type of thing, but still, like I feel like I need the edge again, I
Yeah,
need to do it again,
you got the
even
it.
though it's exactly it's not the same. It's not like TV or anything like that. But so yeah, no, I definitely want to. I think I kind of impressed myself with the management of time, stress, being able to like find solutions last minute, like, you know, things need to move. There's no time, you can't even think. So it's I think I got what it takes. Yeah, I think I
Yeah.
got what it takes for to do that again. Yeah.
I think you did too. I mean, like you said, you guys were the only ones who have never done TV before.
I'm
And
the only one. Sabrina did TV
oh,
before,
okay.
so
What show
she
did
kind
she
of like
do?
she did the Big Bake season
I
2.
didn't know she did. I didn't
Yeah.
know that. I
Yeah,
was on
I didn't
season
even
2.
know either. Like she told, because you need to like talk to other the other competitors before, like who are you, where you come from, that sort of
Yeah.
thing. And she said, "Oh, I did the Big Bake." Excuse me, like you're you're my friend. I don't even know that. Like yeah,
Yeah, I
which
had
is
no idea because like
yeah.
when we had to quarantine for season 2 of The Big Bake. Like I'm pretty sure that was the one I was on, or was I on season 3?
Or maybe she was on season 1. I don't know. Like, don't quote me on this, but
Okay.
I know that she did the Big Bake. I just don't know where exactly in the timeline.
Oh, okay. So I filmed in 2021 and like I had to quarantine for 2 solid weeks to
Okay.
film one episode. And then like 4 days I think after we filmed and left, uh 4 people on set got COVID. And so everyone who was like quarantined or coming in, all their episodes got canceled. But there was a bunch of us like sitting in quarantine. Only the Americans had to quarantine for 2 weeks. But we were all sitting in this hotel room and there was tons of us and we weren't supposed to know like who was there, but like somehow we all kind of connected to each other and I don't remember Sabrina being in that group chat.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah, like I don't know, maybe it was the same season, maybe not, but I didn't know she had done that. So, okay.
Yeah.
She had done The Big Bake, which is like one episode. And then you've never done a TV show before, and you guys came out on top with like all of these other competitors, a lot of people who I highly admire who have a
Oh,
lot
yeah.
more
Me
experience.
too. Like, I saw
Yeah.
these names and I was like, "Oh, man, we are screwed."
Yes. I would have thought the same thing. Yeah, absolutely. And, like, especially because a lot of them have done multi-episode shows, like,
Mhm.
the baking championships or the war shows, and those are exhausting, like, I've done now, I've done Holiday Wars and I did Halloween Wars 3 years in a row, and that is exhausting because you're filming for, like, 2 weeks straight.
Yeah.
Holiday Wars was closer to a month because we had to quarantine
Wow.
and there was a lot of other crazy stuff going
Wow,
on.
wow, wow, wow.
Yeah, and so you're going, like, almost every single day. You have, like, maybe 1 day off, and, you're trying to film all this stuff, and it's so exhausting, and truly the people who, like, make it to the end, it's not just a skill thing, it's also endurance
Oh, yeah, for
and to
sure.
make it through. So the fact that, like, a lot of them have done those type of shows before and have kind of trained themselves to do timed competitions, you guys came in and, like, swept the floor,
I
like, that
know,
is
right?
I truly admire that. That is
Oh, thank you.
incredible.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Yeah.
You should be
It's
really proud of yourself. You
I
you need to
am.
go do
I'm
more
super
competitions.
Yeah, I know. I'm super happy. It's funny because when I saw Halloween Wars, I did the I didn't do I wasn't chosen, but I did a couple of interviews for that season. That the same one that you did that's coming out right now, which would have been
I was
fun,
about to
but
say which one.
uh
I was about to say which one because
well,
it's
that
3
one.
years, yeah.
That
Okay.
one. Yeah. So no. Unfortunately, I did a couple of interviews. At first, I thought it was, like, maybe me, like, "What's happening? Is it because they don't like me?" But I've been told, "No, you need to do a bunch of them. You need to do a bunch of interviews, and, you'll get to y don't" yeah, exactly. So it takes a while if they don't if they already have somebody that's, you know, looks about like you and talks about like you, of course, they won't
Yeah,
take you, but
unfortunately. I think we look very similar. We kind of
yeah,
have a
exactly,
similar
that's it.
face shape and hair color, and I took that role away from you.
I know, right?
No,
Stop being, bold with your hair now.
okay, fine. My hair has changed every single show. I've had, like,
Really?
blue hair, I've had green hair on a show, let's see, I've had pink, I've
You
had
had pink
different shades of
for a
pink.
while now, 'cause I remember
Yeah.
in Snowfall you had pink.
Yeah, like, it kinda changes which pink I have
Mm,
because I'm trying to, like, find a permanent color that I always keep, and, yeah, it changes, but I've changed a lot, like, throughout the different shows, and I might I might keep pink because I kinda wanna be like a how do I explain this? Being in an online and, like, TV personality, I kinda wanna be like a cartoon character where, like, your look doesn't change,
exactly, yeah.
and so as
So
much as I
people
love
know you from far away and, like, they
yeah.
know, "Okay, this is Emerlie," because of pink hair and
Exactly, and, like,
mhm,
I have, my side shaved, I just barely shaved the other side, and, you look for ways to stand out so that you can be casted as well as be recognized,
right.
and, there's certain people if I don't know if you met Mitzi at,
Yes.
okay, yeah, so Mitzi is, like, a good friend of mine, and she's a good example. I'm like, she is like a cartoon character. She has her little glasses, she has, like, her cute little outfits that almost always look the same, and she has, like, her curated hair, and I'm like, I wanna be like Mitzi. I wanna be a cartoon character so that people recognize me. I'm gonna keep the pink hair for a while, for that
Go
reason.
ahead. Yeah,
Also, it doesn't look
it's
lame.
got almost like a branding thing as well,
Yes,
like,
it's a
it's your
branding
brand,
thing.
it's like it's more than just hair at some point.
Yep,
Yep.
absolutely. Yeah, so I guess I took that role, but not really. There's my other teammate this year on Wicked Sculptors, Rebecca. We also kind of look the same. Like she also
Okay.
has like pink and purple hair, and she's also like white, and so not a very diverse team. But that's
Exactly, yeah.
because I was an alternate and I got called in 24 hours before.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so actually, like, when I filmed Holiday Wars years ago, they filmed in California, and I think I know why they changed states, but I probably shouldn't say it why. But anyways, they switched it over to Utah. They now film an hour away from where I live.
Oh, wow,
And
okay.
so, yeah, so like They called me in for Halloween Wars season 13. I got eliminated first episode.
I
Um,
remember, yeah.
yeah, unfortunately.
It's
Um,
okay.
I'm proud of the work I put forth,
Yes,
and we'll
exactly,
leave
that's
it at that.
I mean,
Yeah.
you were there, it's still fun.
Yeah, and I cried. I cried so hard,
Oh.
like, because I thought that was my only chance to be on this show. And then at the time, like, they filmed that in January, and then come August, they were already filming for the next year. And so I filmed seasons 13 and 14 within what, like 7, 8 months of each other.
Wow.
And that was a little bit rough. But anyway, so what aired last year, season 14, All Stars, I was an alternate. So they called me in. They called me and they were like, "Would you be willing to be an alternate for the show?" And I'm like, "No." They wanted me to be an alternate for Halloween and holiday, and I'm so
Okay.
traumatized by Holiday Wars that I was
Why?
like,
Oh,
things I
okay.
probably shouldn't say online. It was the most traumatizing season of TV I've ever done. Like, Holiday Wars was
Really?
not good. Yeah. I have, like, actual PTSD from it. I was
Is
getting
it
my
because
nails. Go
okay,
ahead.
so I got a question. Is it
Okay.
because they kind of, like, managed to create drama and, is it because they kinda, like, incite, you know, crazy stuff happening?
No. No, that didn't have anything to do with it.
Okay.
It was we filmed in 2020 and it was in the pandemic.
Oh,
And
okay,
it
so
was
yeah.
like them trying to figure out, and they told us, they're like, "You guys filming this show, everybody's looking at us to see if it's even possible to film TV
Oh.
shows during the pandemic." So we were kind of setting an example, but they didn't it was just chaos, chaos, chaos. Like, not having AC and being in this room that was like 100 degrees, and like all this, like
With a mask
literally
on.
100 degrees with, oh, like everything on. Yeah. Um
Oh.
a lot of things that, yeah, things I probably shouldn't say, otherwise, I could get in trouble, but
Right,
we
right,
can
right.
talk about that off camera.
Sure.
But anyways, a very traumatizing season of TV. So they called me up and they were like, "Hey, listen, like, we're about to film Halloween and Holiday Wars, and we need more sugar artists." And it's a very hard role to fill. Not a lot of people can do ice malt and baking, and you're trying to fill this role. So they're like, "Hey, would you be willing to be an alternate for both shows?" Because I was the only local person who had done both shows who was a sugar artist. And so, they told me, they're like, "You're like a unicorn. Like, we'd love to have you as like a backup." And I was like, "Honestly, no." And I went on this whole rant with this guy for like 30 minutes on the phone, the poor guy. And I was just like, "No, because of this, and then because of this, and because of this." And I just like complained so much. And I'm like, "But maybe I would say yes. No, because of this." And I just went on and on. Poor guy. And then I was like, "I don't know. I guess I'll just have to think about it." He's like, "I understand. Get back to me." And I called back later, and after talking to like my husband and my sister and my mom and all of that, and I was like, "Okay, you know what? I think I should do it." So I said yes, and they were like, "Okay, you're on retainer." They also don't have to fly me out, and put me up in a hotel. So they don't have to pay any money for that. Um Anyways, I got the call 4 days before for last season. And then this season, I didn't apply. I didn't none of that, but now production knows me pretty well at this point.
Right.
And yeah,
The
and
unicorn.
I am the unicorn. I also don't have kids, so it's like really easy for me
Right.
to just take off. I'm not like, let me figure out daycare and all this. And I'm
Right.
just like, let me go. I don't do cake orders either, so. So anyways, yeah, they called me 24 hours before, and that's how I ended up doing Halloween Wars 3 years in a row. It aired on TV 3 years in a row, but I actually filmed them all within a year and a half.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Wow.
anyways, yeah, like, that was very chaotic. I don't regret it, but
No,
yeah.
it's definitely something, that's for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's crazy. Like 3 times in a row. It's crazy that, a couple of years ago, you didn't think you would ever do it again, you cried and then ta-da!
Yeah,
You're
I
back.
didn't well, I didn't think they'd bring me back, but also it was a big part of that was them filming in January, and I
Mm,
usually work Sundance Film Festival up in Park City, the same place where they filmed this show. So they filmed it that first time at the exact same time as Sundance Film Festival, and you have
Okay.
people coming in from all over the world. It's crowded, like, I can't believe they did that, and it's, heavy weather. So, anyways, I usually work for Sundance Film Festival, and I had to, not do the festival that year, and it's something that, like, I thought I would do every single year, and I wasn't willing to not work Sundance in the hopes that I maybe would get casted. But
Right.
when yeah, but when they moved it, then I was like, "Oh, okay, I guess I can do this again."
Mhm.
Yeah. But
Cool.
you should definitely, keep trying.
I'll try, I'll
It's a
try,
good
I'll do
one.
my best. Hopefully, they'll like me at some point, but yeah.
Yeah. I would say, like, not everyone enjoys it because it is such a marathon, but if you think you can handle the endurance, I would say, season 14 especially, best TV experience I've had so
Oh,
far.
cool,
It's
cool.
fantastic, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
It's fun. Some people tell me, like, oh, it's a bit intense.
Yeah.
Sometimes depending on the show, because of course they're not the same, but they'll try to like they'll try to like move around your stuff and like create drama on the set and all that stuff.
Mhm.
And I'm like, oh, really? Okay, so maybe it's not for me. But if your experience was good with the Halloween Wars, then I'll maybe try that one instead of like
Yeah.
the other ones they're talking about. But yep.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've heard people, like, think stuff like that was happening, but I personally did not experience that, and I
Okay.
think that in general, like, they've gotten better. It is very chaotic, and you do have to, like, roll with the flow of, production, and,
Right.
things don't go exactly how you hope and wish
Of
or
course
you're
not.
told it's gonna go, and if you can roll with the punches, then you'll have a great experience, but,
Exactly. That's
they're
it.
not
Yeah.
trying to sabotage you, like,
Okay,
that's
okay,
not a
okay.
thing.
Okay, okay. Okay,
Yeah.
it does reassure me a little bit.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, anything else that you wanna talk about?
Well, I'm, organizing a cake show here in
That's right.
Montreal.
Okay, so I saw, like, your little teaser, and I was able to, like, see the translation because it was in
Yes.
French.
Yeah.
But I would love to know, like, more details, and can you talk about, like, what this show like, what you plan on having at the show,
Yes.
where it's going to be, when it's going to be, and what people can look forward to?
Sure. So it's the 6th and 7th of June of 2026. So it's a couple of months ago, couple of months away. Sorry. And it will be in Montreal, downtown. So directly in what is called Place des Arts, which is the art sector of Montreal. So everything that is very cool about Montreal is there. So it's very cool for everybody. It comes and to be able to, just walk out and have, a bunch of festivals going on and, a bunch of people as well outside. So, it's going to be a show. We are thinking about maybe, I would say 25 vendors there. We will have a stage. We want to do a bit of entertaining. We also want to do conferences as well. We want people to be able to talk about the business side of everything about cake, and of course, new products, that sort of thing. So everything that we you would expect normally from a cake show will be there, but we're trying to do it maybe a little bit more of a pizzazz, adds, a little bit of extra bling, that's what we wanted to create. That's what we're hoping to create, of course. And so we want a cake competition as well. So there'll be a cake competition, expos, of course, exposition of cakes there as well. So beginners, as well as professional. We definitely want to have a a competition as well. I would absolutely love to have um some type of like tasting competition as well, because so what is how can I say this, but in French Canadian we are very we have like French pastry. It's kind of like all it's in us, so French pastry is very delicate, it's very light, it's very um not really sweet, it's and of course in France, it's even like it's almost like a culture, it's almost like a cult. You can't even touch or even change anything about pastry. But here in Quebec, you can kind of like manage and like go around it and do something slightly different from what is expected from the pastry. But cake design has a tendency to be called not good. So very sweet, very Americanized,
Yep.
like American buttercream, like a bunch of sugar and that's it, that's what we, that's what most people here, especially in Quebec or even France, called American, of course, cake design, very sweet and overly sweet and too sweet, can't even
Yep.
finish a piece, that sort of thing. So here in Quebec, we're trying to like change a little bit of that, trying to put a bit more like of the pastry side inside of the cake design to make it, so people like it a little bit more. People more like the French, for example. So I would love to have that in the cake show as well in Montreal, to be able to showcase that it can be absolutely beautiful and gorgeous and nice and tastes fantastic. So, so yeah, that's what we want to do. We also want to be able to ask for instructors to do classes there as well. We'll have like a special section for that, to be able to like people from around the world, hopefully around the world, want to teach at the cake show as well. So this is our first. Technically, it's not the first. Technically, it's the third time that we have a cake show in Montreal. We had one in 2012 and 2013 when I first started doing cakes, and I actually participated in both of them. And I've won medals as well when I was competing there. And we wanted to bring it back because not everybody can go to Miami, at SoFlo, or not
Oh,
everybody
yeah.
can go to Vegas or even Birmingham or even in India, for example, where they have really big cake shows as well, or even Australia, which is like very far away from us. So I wanted to bring it there. I wanted to bring it to Montreal so people can experience it. And it's like one of the best thing about our community. It's that we share the same passion, we share the same type of like love for this art. So you want it to, you know you want to be able to share it with a bunch of people. And so yeah, make it fun. It's a big event, and we want it to be like as fun as all the other ones, of course. But
Yeah.
we are definitely gonna do it on a smaller scale from what you would expect from a cake show, because of course it's our first time. We don't want to get
Don't
crazy.
overextend yourself,
Exactly.
especially post-COVID. Like, a lot of expos have fallen off
Exactly.
because the numbers aren't there. So starting small and waiting for the numbers to come back is really smart. Who is we? You keep saying we. Who's these
Yes.
other
Okay.
people?
So at the beginning of the year, when I was creating the bundle I was talking to you about, with a bunch of other creators in French, I was talking to somebody that's, I wouldn't say really local, because Montreal is quite big. So she's like I'm from the South Shore. She's from the North Shore of Montreal. And so I was talking to her and I was telling her, like, one day at some point, I would love to create a cake show here in Montreal. And she was like, well, I was trying to, but it's really, really hard. So we well, we are trying to put ourselves together. She has a pretty big community as well. I have a pretty big community. So we thought, just instead of trying to do both the same thing from each other's side, we decided, we should just team up and make
Oh,
something
yeah.
better. So that's what we did. And we kept the secret for a couple of months. We went to visit venues and, started to talk about money and sponsors. It's so much, it's such a big responsibility. We have been talking to, people that we would never thought possible to talk to, like big business owners, and like asking them for money. So So no, that's the person I've been teamed with, or I decided to team myself with that
Yeah.
person to create a cake show here in Montreal.
Okay. So is this going to be in English, French, or both?
Both. They are going to
Okay.
be in both. We are planning to do most of the entertaining in both languages. Here in Quebec, there's of course, the government is really, you're in a English, most everybody around us speaks English. So, of course, most people will understand exactly what you're saying, but there's like a protection for French here in Quebec. So
Really?
everything, oh yeah, big time. We are trying to keep our language, and to do so, the government is putting a bunch of laws to make sure that doesn't like go away. So, for example, on an announcement or on let's say we do some publicity or that sort of thing, it has to be in French first. It has to be much bigger. If there's some text, it has to be. I think not sure exactly of the percentages, but I think it's about 30% like bigger, and the English quotes under it slightly smaller. Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
That's
So
so specific. I had no
oh, it's very
idea.
specific. Yeah. 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 And for example, in the bar, if there's a menu and let's say there's some English words, sometimes they get, like letters from the government telling them like you need to change that. Um, for example, shooter. You can't say shooter on a menu. A shooter.
Oh,
You
yeah,
can't.
yeah.
Yeah, you can't do because everybody here in Montreal or even like in Quebec, whatever, we say shooter. We don't do anything else. I'm not even sure what the word in French is. I don't know. I don't know. It's a shooter. You can't put that on your menu. It's crazy. So
That is
anyway, there's
crazy.
good things about it. There's bad things about it. So yeah, everything. So for example, the real name of the cake show is Le Cake Show Montréal. It has to be that. But of course, we call it the Cake Show Montreal, so that way
Wow.
everybody understands it. But everything from social media, from everything, like everything that you'll see there as well will be both languages, but everything will be mostly in French because we have to. We don't have a choice.
That is really hard.
I know.
Yeah. Like it, I lived in Toronto, so like I know that like a
Okay.
lot of things had to be in French, but not to the same extent as where
No,
you live.
no,
So like a lot of
exactly.
the street signs were in French. Anytime you bought things at the grocery store, the front would be English, the back would be in French.
Exactly.
And like going to cake school, like all of the recipes I got were like French and well, most of them were French influenced recipes.
Okay.
Like we learned how to make pâte à sucre and pâte à choux, and like a
The
lot of the
children.
recipes have
Yeah.
like French names,
Yeah.
and everything was in grams and all of that.
Oh yeah.
So that was, like, and I understand like the taste palette part that you talked about because I went there and I'm like, oh, everything is not that sweet. And it took me some time to adjust to it because it's all European and you guys have a more refined, I don't know if you guys, are you considered European?
Well,
Because
technically,
you're,
we call them cousins because we were
okay.
brought here from France for 400 years ago, and we became definitely our own. Like Quebec is definitely our own culture. We
Yeah.
don't call ourselves Europeans, but all the culture that was there kind of came here. So we still, for example, pastry. It's French pastry from us. It's not exactly the same, I would say, but it's definitely influenced, like very, very much influence from European. So yes, of
Yeah,
course,
okay. So you guys
every
in general, like Canadian or like where you are and Europeans, like you all have a more refined taste palette. And then
mhm.
like in America, we have not a refined taste palette, but also like I live in Utah and if you look at like all the addictions around the US, like Utah's addiction is sugar.
Oh
We
wow,
love sugar more than anything. Like we have more soda shops than we have coffee shops and I drink
wow,
soda every single day. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, but it's a lot largely because, like, in Utah, like, a lot of people here don't drink alcohol, they don't drink coffee, they don't drink, like, all these bitter things, tea
Right.
even,
Right.
and so, like, our vice is sugar. It's
Okay.
because of the religion here. And so, we have our soda shops, we have our we have Crumble started here, like, all the cookie shops started here. So, anyways, it's a very, like, sugar addicted state. And so when I went there and I started like trying all these recipes at school, I was like, there's not that
Where's
much
the sugar?
flavor.
Oh,
Where's
no,
the
no, there's
sugar?
nothing. Some
Nothing.
pastries only have, like, one spoonful of, like,
Yeah.
for 5 grams of sugar in them. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
at first it took me some time to adjust to it, but then I came back and I'm like, "Oh, everything's so sweet. It's
Yep.
disgusting." And it really
Yep.
like changed my taste palette in a huge way. But I have clients that are used to that sugar. So
Right.
I had to like Americanize a lot of my recipes and find a balance between the two. Like I don't want things too sugary, but I can't have them being um like no taste. So like my
Right.
Swiss meringue buttercream, I had to add more salt, more extract, and more sugar in order for it to not just taste like butter. And I always like when I did
Wow.
cake tastings for my brides, I every single time I do a cake tasting, I'm like, "Okay, here's your cakes." And like the outside, I would do like mini cakes covered
Mhm.
in Swiss. And I would explain to them, I'm like, okay, the outside is my Swiss meringue buttercream. It's not as sugary sweet as what you're used to, but it's more stable. And this is what's going to keep your cake from falling over. But I still do like cream cheese frosting and American frosting as the filling for some of my flavors so that they can still get that like sugary sweetness. Um so it's a balance. I'm not a
Mhm.
big fan of American frosting anymore, but Swiss or actually Italian's the best tasting one for me. It's a good
Really? Do
balance.
you see a difference between Swiss and Italian? I don't
Yep.
see it.
Oh,
I don't see
Italian's way sweeter, but I think Swiss is easier to make and also it's allowed under cottage food laws. Uh
Okay.
Yeah, because, like, you're actually heating it up and or you're pasteurizing the eggs
Right.
basically,
Yeah.
whereas Italian, you're just
The
relying
syrup. Yeah.
yeah, relying on the sugar syrup to heat it up enough, so it's not allowed out of a home kitchen.
Okay. Okay, I
But
see.
I
It is
prefer
different in
Italian.
Canada for sure, like,
Yeah,
the yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
So, yeah, it's interesting, like, seeing all these different cultures. When I went and filmed The Big Bake in Canada, I was like, "Okay, these judges are gonna be a little bit more sophisticated," so I made sure to not, like, go overly sugary,
Okay.
like, you have to, like, tailor your
Oh, yeah.
recipes in these competitions to your judges and where they live and what they're used to.
Huh.
Yeah,
Crazy. Ah, good
so
to know.
crazy. Yeah. But anyways, this cake show sounds amazing. We
Yes.
need more cake shows, and I need an excuse to come to Canada. So,
Yeah.
I'm interested if you have
Fantastic.
applications for instructors or anything like that.
Yes, absolutely. They'll be coming up soon. Definitely want,
Okay.
I would love you, to be there.
I know how to run a stage too, if you're interested.
Yes, right. I remember. That would be
Yeah.
fantastic. It's a bigger stage, although, well, definitely not bigger than the main one in SoFlo. About the same size, I would say.
Yeah. It was a fairly small stage. It was decent. It was decent
Yeah,
size.
okay.
But it was, like,
Let's do
still, like, a
that.
newer thing because like, the year before, it was this girl, Kendra, who came over from England, and she ran the stage, and it was, the
Yes.
first time they did it, it was, she called it the social media stage,
Yep. I
and
remember.
then yeah, and then, like, the following year, I, reached out to the showrunners for SoFlo, and I was like, "Hey, like, because I got rejected as an instructor. I taught the year before, but they get so many people who apply that the next year, like, I didn't get in, and so I was like, "Okay, guys, like, what else can I do for you?" And I threw out all these ideas, and I'm like, "I would love to be involved in the stage again," and, assuming that Kendra was coming back, and then, I was like, "I can do this edible photo booth backdrop," like and I had several more ideas, and they called me up, and they're like, "Yeah, so when it comes to the social media stage, like, we cannot be involved, like, you have to run it all yourself." And I was like,
Okay.
"I'm sorry, what?"
Excuse me, what?
Excuse me, what? I'm like, "I'm running this stage," and I didn't know that Kendra wasn't coming back and they didn't have anybody, And I only had 3.5 months to pull this stage together. I changed it to the social media and TV stage. I coordinated 25 influencers and reality TV stars from the industry. And we did like live demos and we did the live competitions, 3 live competitions,
Mhm.
and we did panels. And I also had a team of people who put together this edible photo booth. And
Yes.
it's probably the worst 3.5 months of my life.
Was it really? You
Oh,
look
it
so
was
good doing it.
no, well, it's and there's a lot that I could get into here, but I actually asked them at the end of the previous year and they ghosted me on a call, and then they called me in January and they were like, "Okay, so we don't want to be involved. You have to handle it all yourself. We have
Oh,
too
okay.
much." And so I only had 3.5 months, but right after I committed to this and also got them to say yes to the photo booth, all in the same 10-minute conversation, shortly after like my aunt passed away. And
Oh,
my sister kept almost dying, and it's complicated, but my aunt took care of my nieces, my sister's 2 kids, and they lived with her almost full time. And so when she passed away, like they had to come live with us. So it was like right as I committed to this, like we had to move my nieces into our house, and we had to like make up a room for them, and we were dealing with a lot of grief and trauma. And
right.
like I said, my sister kept almost dying, and so I was dealing with that, and like there's other things going on. The morning I had to leave for SoFlo, the morning, like here I am stressing out. I'm like pulling all this stuff together for the stage and everything, and my brother ends up in the emergency room, and I had to go pick him up.
Oh my
Uh,
God.
yeah, and
It's
it was
almost
just
like
like
it's almost like something was telling you to not do it or something.
right. I I did it.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of, like, how that came together and the fact that I was able to pull so many people together, and it just and I got so many sponsors to help me, and I don't know how I did it, but I ended up doing it, and it was such a fantastic experience. But again, like, probably the worst 3.5 months of my life.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Uh,
Now I totally get it now.
yeah, and,
Yeah,
like, becoming a part-time parent overnight, like,
exactly. You
I
became a
I
parent, like, wow.
yeah. So anyways, it was just like a really rough time, but I'm very proud of like what we pulled off there, and I was really hoping to like do it again. I wanted SoFlo to like keep going, and I wanted to
Yes.
like
I
like
wanted to
I
go back to it's so much fun.
it's so much fun, and I wanted to like have that permanent spot of like doing the stage, and then
Yes.
they shut down. So, I definitely am looking for other opportunities to
Oh,
like
yeah, of
continue
course. Yeah,
because
that
I
would be
had
cool.
so much fun doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
I love
Well,
that.
I'm keeping this in mind.
Okay. No pressure.
I
No
know.
pressure if you already have other people or you're doing
I
something
don't
completely
actually, I
different.
don't.
Okay. Well, I love that. Sandra, it has been so great talking to you. I think you're
Excellent.
such a fantastic person. You have such a bright personality.
Thank
And
you.
we I'm biased because you also like have the pink hair.
Yes,
Yeah, but I just think
pink
like
and
you're
orange now.
so jealous. I love that. I've always wanted to do a split look, but
Yeah,
I'm not there yet.
but it took me about, I would say, 3 years to, like, "Okay, I'm committing to this," but yeah, so I'm
Yeah, that's
really happy I
exciting.
did.
Yeah, I love that. Uh, yeah, so it's been great talking to you, getting to know you. Like I actually didn't know all this stuff that you were doing, and so like learning about all of it and how long you've been at this gives me hope
Oh,
because
yeah,
like
for sure. But
yeah,
I came out of, like, my cocoon, I would say,
yeah,
uh, at some point. Even though it's been a long time since I've been like, in the cake industry, I felt like an imposter for, like, so long.
yes.
Like, so I didn't reach out to anybody. I didn't talk to anybody because I felt like there's no way that these people would want me, you know? But, and when I went to SoFlo back, like, the first year, 2023, that's when, I don't know what happened, like, something clicked in my mind, and, I started talking to a bunch of people, and I was like, "Okay, I'm liking this. I'm liking what I'm going," you know? So yeah, that's it.
Oh, I love that. Well, anyone who's listening, if you guys are interested in learning how to decorate cakes and all that fun stuff, like Sandra mentioned, she does have a website, and we will leave a link below that you guys can go check that out if you are French speaking. If you're
Yep.
English speaking, I just barely launched my own website, so you have choices here. And I also just launched a 3D cake masterclass, and I will be launching some other classes as well. But I'm going to keep that bundle idea in mind. That sounds really
Yes.
interesting.
It's very fun. It's a lot of work, don't get me wrong,
Yes.
but it's definitely something very cool to make and create. It's very cool.
Yeah. Is there any other digital products that you have that people can jump on and look at?
I
No.
don't think so. I don't think
Okay.
so. I've made enough, you know.
Yeah. That's okay. You're a busy person, and obviously you've created this online ecosystem. Like I said, I just barely launched my website, and so I have a few students, but I haven't like yet turned on that faucet of like
Mm,
actual income, consistent
right.
income. So
Yes,
you
okay,
give
I
me
see.
hope,
Oh yeah,
and I
there is
really
a hope for
appreciate that.
sure. It's a
Yeah.
lot of work, don't get me wrong, but I think you can do this.
Okay. I got this. I
You got
hate marketing. The podcast is marketing.
Oh, but marketing is quite fun. Like,
No, not
um,
for me. I hate it with the
no?
fiery burning passion of hell. Yes.
No, for me, it's something I really, really enjoy, really enjoy. Like, I've read books about it, you know, like I've been on webinars, and this is like something I really, really enjoy. Yep. So like email marketing, you
Oh,
know,
hate
social
it.
media, that, oh yeah, I'm loving this. Yeah.
Yeah. My creative brain doesn't want to think that way. It
I
shuts
see.
off and I'm like, I marketing? What? Just let me create.
Yeah, right.
Just let me film. Let me have fun. But
Yeah.
marketing is no. So I'll get there. I'll
Mhm.
take time. So I really appreciate you, Sandra. Again, anyone who's listening, this is the Haute Sugar Collective podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. You can find this on YouTube and Spotify and Apple, as well as my website. And there'll be more coming, and we'll be interviewing lots more people and covering lots of subjects and just seeing what people are doing in the industry these days. I know a lot of people are trying to transition into the online space. And so being able to talk to people who have already done it and carved that path, ahead of everyone else, it's very inspiring. And yeah, just getting to know you and all the great stuff. So thank you so much, Sandra.
No
Maybe we'll see you
problem.
again.
Yes, of course. Anytime.